Hello everyone, welcome to this series on cultural studies, and in this video we are going to discuss the term androgyny. Introduction. Derived from the Greek word aner, andros, male, and gyne, female, androgyny literally refers to hermaphroditism or the presence of both male and female reproductive organs in a single organism. Historically, the term has been primarily used by biologists, particularly botanists, to describe certain plants. However, during the 1960s and 1970s, the concept of androgyny gained significant traction among feminist theorists. They used it to describe the combination and expression of both masculine and feminine appearances, traits, qualities, characteristics, and virtues in human individuals. The feminist argument for androgyny. The feminist argument for androgyny is based on the axiom that sex and gender are not identical. Sexist thinking, which is typically dualistic and dichotomous, tends to conflate these two concepts. In sexist cultural systems, two categories, male and female, are established. Traits are ascribed to individuals to fit them into these categories. The categories and their traits are evaluated, often devaluing the female and traits associated with females, and these categories are ordered through various cultural mechanisms to enforce relations of dominance and subordination between those classified as male and female. Sexism relies on the ability to distinguish between males and females of the species, and in sexist societies, individuals are prohibited from appearing to belong to the opposite sex, neither sex or both sexes. The psychological and cultural reproduction of sexism requires that appropriate gender behavior be rigorously enforced, preventing males and females from performing the work or expressing the qualities associated with the opposite sex. Feminists claimed that the practice of androgyny would promote human freedom by allowing individuals to develop according to their innate logic, rather than one imposed by sexist culture. Androgyny would expose the social constructedness of gender, highlighting sites for reconstructing a genderless society. Additionally, androgyny would directly attack sexism by undermining its foundation, the differentiation of human beings into male and female sex classes. Promoting human freedom. The practice of androgyny promotes human freedom by asserting the right of individuals to develop according to their own innate logic, not one imposed by a sexist culture. It exposes the socially constructed nature of gender, thereby revealing sites for the reconstruction of a genderless society. By challenging the strict binary classification of individuals into male and female categories, androgyny seeks to undermine the foundation of sexism. This approach highlights the fluidity of gender and the possibility for individuals to express traits traditionally associated with both genders, fostering a more inclusive and egalitarian society. Historical context and early feminist explorations. Before 1960s and 1970s, feminists occasionally explored the concept of androgyny. For example, Elizabeth Cady Stanton asserted that the deity was androgynous in the Woman's Bible 1895, and Virginia Woolf prescribed a room of one's own 1928 that writers be either man-womanly or woman-manly. These early explorations laid the groundwork for more comprehensive discussions on androgyny in feminist theory. The fullest articulation of androgyny as a feminist cultural ideal is Caroline Heilburn's Toward a Recognition of Androgyny 1973. Heilburn argued for the recognition and acceptance of androgynous traits in individuals, emphasizing the importance of breaking free from rigid gender roles and stereotypes. Decline of interest in the 1980s. Interest in androgyny waned by the 1980s, a period often referred to as the decade of difference. Radical feminists argue that in a male-dominated society, androgyny could never be fully realized as andro would always prevail over gyn. They urged women not to flee from femaleness and femininity but to emphasize and celebrate their differences from men. Black feminists also pushed for the exploration of difference, advocating for greater attention to the racial and cultural specificity of gender notions. This shift in focus reflected a broader trend with feminism towards celebrating diversity and acknowledging the unique experiences of different groups of women. Deconstruction and analytical categories. Feminists influenced by deconstruction emphasized the difference within analytical categories. They argued that because androgyny preserves the categories of male and female, it can never serve as an alternative to the sex-gender system. Instead, androgyny is implicated in the very dualism it seeks to undermine. Deconstructionists critique the binary oppositions that underline traditional gender constructs, arguing for a more fluid and dynamic understanding of gender. By exposing the limitations and contradictions inherent in the concept of androgyny, they challenge its potential to fully dismantle the sex-gender system. Contemporary cultural criticism. Although androgyny represents a path not taken in feminist theory and praxis, its appeal persists in contemporary cultural criticism, particularly in interests related to hybridity and the transgression of boundaries. The concept continues to influence discussions on gender fluidity, non-binary identities, and the rejection of rigid gender roles. Additionally, a popular cultural movement towards gentling or feminizing men suggests the lingering appeal of androgyny into the late 1980s and 1990s. This movement reflects a growing recognition of the benefits of integrating traditionally feminine traits such as empathy and nurturing into broader societal norms. Conclusion. Androgyny as a concept challenges the traditional binary understanding of gender by advocating for the integration and expression of both masculine and feminine traits in individuals. While its popularity has fluctuated, particularly within feminist discourse, its influence remains evident in various cultural and critical discussions. The notion of androgyny continues to inspire debates on gender fluidity, hybridity, and the deconstruction of rigid gender norms. By promoting a more inclusive and egalitarian approach to gender, androgyny offers a powerful critique of sexism and an opportunity for greater human freedom. So this was the discussion on the term androgyny. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other term. Until then, goodbye and thank you.